this is Ilina and welcome to another LDRS creative card making video. In today's video, I'm using three new products from the November release. That's the Flower Doodles stamp set. I'm using Sentiment from there, Floral Silhouettes. I'm using a couple of images, and the new rectangle Spotlight 6x6 stencil. So here I have a piece of cardstock that I've cut down to 4 by 5 1/4, which is a little bit smaller than A2. So the stencil has guides for A2, so I'm just positioning a piece of darker cardstock underneath so I'm able to see the lines, the engraved lines, so I position that piece of white cardstock correctly. So I taped it down on the back. I'm just adding a little bit more tape so I make sure that that's nice and secure. And I'm using three different colors of the LDRS Creative Hybrid ink. So I'm starting with the darkest, which is Boysenberry. Then I will use Fandango and then Tangerine Tango. So those two last, it seems like they rhyme. So I'm starting from the top to the bottom. So the top will be darker and the bottom will be lighter. And then I will reverse it. I'll move back from the orange Tangerine Tango to the Fandango and to the Boysenberry. So until I get the saturation of the ink that I want. So I want it here a little bit more saturated, but if you're working with even darker colors when you stamp on it, especially if you stamp a sentiment, you will need to be careful to not have oversaturated so that sentiment is not visible after you stamp it. So I'm just adding a little bit more here to create that nice gradient between the colors. And I'm overlapping so you get more than 3 colors in that area when you look like you've used more than 3. Next, I'm using my stamp positioning tool, and I will use the Floral Silhouette stamp set. So I'm positioning, this will be the tallest image that's in that rectangle, and it will come out from that rectangle. I'm using post-it tape to mask the bottom because I didn't want the stem to go under the line of that rectangle. At the same time, I position the sentiment, so I'll stamp them both together. I'm using the LDRS Creative Hybrid ink in Raven, which is black. And I'm stamping a couple times here to make sure that I have nice impression. I had a little spot there that did not stamp. I discovered that I had my puppy's hair on the stamp, so it just created a white line on the image, but once I removed it and stamped it over, I had perfect image. Okay, next I removed those two stamps and I'm going with a third one. So this one will be a shorter one. So I'm pulling that down towards the bottom, but since we have the bottom mask off, you will just be able to see the stem where that line ends from the rectangle. So I think that one stamp there looks perfectly fine. I'm removing that stamp and then I will go with the smallest or the shortest. You can use any of the stamp, just move it down since it's masked off. You can make it as short as you want. So I'm stamping it one more time just in case, and we are done with the stamping, so we just need to assemble the card now. So I used a sticky mat in my Misty. I removed that panel from there. I'm making sure that that ink is dry before I touch it, since it's black and it likely smear. While that's drying, I'm cleaning my stencil. I discovered that if I use little alcohol swabs, pretty much all the color, the staining that typically would leave, stay on the stencil. Even if I wash it with soap and water, it comes out. I'm a little bit OCD when it comes to cleaning, like having kind of ink residue. So those worked perfectly, so I wanted to share that tip. And it dries very quickly. So I removed the post-it tape from the bottom of that rectangle. And now I'm just adding another piece of cardstock to create some dimension. You can also use foam tape. Usually I add one piece of cardstock and then foam tape, but in this case I'm just adding three pieces of cardstock and then I'm adhering um, the panel to my card base. Just adding some liquid adhesive here. And then I will add another layer of adhesive and another piece of white cardstock. You can use any scrap cardstock from either from packaging or something that you have stamped over. At this moment I did not have any handy, so I just use pieces, panels of heavyweight white cardstock that I had in my drawer. Now to finish off the card, where I'm just adding more adhesive, I'm adding it on a top folding um, note card that I made out of craft cardstock. And that finishes our card for today. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. I hope you have an amazing day and see you soon in another video. Bye!